After what I believe was the best game of this franchise, we have now won 5 Super Bowl titles in this 11-season series. Welcome back, everybody, to the Giants franchise. We are nearing the end of our journey. These single-season sims have been a lot of fun. Now, we are going to get into the offseason today, and I'm thinking again about maybe skipping the draft, handling some free agency decisions, and trying to get through a bit more progress here. I do want to get the series wrapped up relatively soon. If we check out some of the career stats at the moment, Brian Petrovsky is at 335 touchdowns, and I still expect he could play a while, and we obviously want to eventually see the end of his time in the NFL. He's played 10 years now, and statistically, not much has changed from year 1 to year 10. I really enjoy handling free agency for the time being because it does revolve around a lot of the players that we have been building around in this series. I'm less attached to the draft. I think I want to condense that a little bit and maybe make 1 or 2 selections as opposed to handling the entire draft. Why don't we get to the re-signing here, and Jason Quinton is up first. Just won the Super Bowl MVP after his pick 6 that got the scoring started for us. Wow. Wasn't expecting that. The tag is worth $15 million. I'm not worried about the regression at tackle for Christian Tolbert, but $20 million a season is a lot of money. 82 over 4 years gets that deal done. After a great season for our defense last year, let's give a 1-year offer to Bradley Chubb. And I would like to offer a 3-year deal to Tavares Towns. I still think this is pretty reasonable. Not going to increase the offer a lot more, and he will want to test. So do you tag Jason Quinton or Tavares Towns? Who would get more interest, do you think, in free agency? I'm going to tag Tavares Towns in this case and come back in the offseason to Quinton. If things didn't work out with Towns, that would dramatically change the offense, and I don't want a lot of change on that side of the football. I want to re-sign Patrick Perkins. He is very young still, just 25 years old, and if we tack on a 3rd year, we are able to get a deal done with him. Otherwise, I think we're ready for free agency to begin. We're going to let everybody else test. That means we have $40 million, which would go away pretty quickly if we do have a Jason Quinton signing. But we're looking at, again, perhaps a new starter over on the right side. Tucker Jeffries probably is not ready to start too many ratings here in the 60s. Otherwise, the offense looks great. There won't be much change there, thankfully. And then for the defense, we'd love to have Quinton come back. And if we can take care of that, there wouldn't be a whole lot to do. 16 teams interested in Jason Quinton. Looks like it's going to be a pretty difficult deal here. 36 over 2 years. This is a lot of money for an inside linebacker. I'm not even sure this is a good idea at this point. I mean, we are in 9th with a huge offer. I'm probably going to put out an offer, but it's not going to be the best one. I'm going to put out a 3-year offer for like 13 a year and let things play out from there. 75 points? Okay, I have to at least try. But that, to me, 3 years, 39 for a 31-year-old linebacker, to me, that was trying pretty hard. 99 points. Yeah, I don't see that working out. So, Reggie Newell would be an option then if we suddenly have to replace the Super Bowl MVP. If other teams are going to be ridiculous in free agency, you don't have to match them. Sometimes losing a battle is the best thing for you. We have some good edge rushers in this class. Kyler Murray is available. If we focus on tackles, we could always bring in Rashawn Slater or any of these other solid mid-80s tackles. John Mayweather. This is where I think we should be focusing our attention. I want to compete here for Rashawn Slater. Seattle's interested right now, and he's the best pass blocker that's available. So let's try to top Seattle. We probably don't have to go up to 120 points to do it. All right, we're in front there with a 1-year, $11.8 million deal. One thing we could also look to do is bring back Otis Springs if this is how it's going to play out. And we know that he's still a really good player. So maybe not here in round 1, but let's come back round 2. I think that's all I want to do here in this round. And we do bring in Rashawn Slater, but Jason Quinton has declined and will be moving on. That was really surprising. Like, what it took to compete was just too much. So I don't know if that screen always tells you the right terms that the players signed for, so I'm just going to look in this one. Bosa gets 1 year, $20 million. 2 years, $31.9 million to go to Jacksonville. I know I offered a really good deal, but sometimes it's like a no-win situation there in free agency. I know my offer was good, but it just didn't get the job done. So let's go back to inside linebacker, and there might be some players a little higher rated, but I like familiarity. And I want to bring back Otis Springs then. So we'll have a couple linebackers we're at least used to playing. Again, this year we're looking for a new slot, and I would like to offer a contract to Troy Cooper, who has a little press, tackling, man, and zone. Maybe not great at anything in particular, but we could use another veteran here at corner. And everybody accepted. Troy Cooper, Dexter Lawrence took basically the minimum offer I could give him, so he is still on the team. And we have a reunion with Otis Springs. Ty Scruggs, 5th-year option. So he's the young left guard, and I absolutely want to pick that up. He's a star dev lineman. Simple as that. There's nothing in particular I think we really need in this first round. They're projecting us to take a running back, but at this point, I'm getting close to being ready for just some multi-year sims, and maybe that's what we end up doing today. I want to make some free agent decisions, maybe pick the first round, and then let's get through some years here. On we go to the NFL draft in 2032, picking, of course, at the very end. We're just going right to our pick this time. What can we do here in the first round? We could look for a replacement for Jason Quinton. Terrell Neal doesn't have the cover ability right now, but there is more to work with, and he's a pretty solid athlete as well. At the core of this franchise has been a very strong defensive front, and we've constantly built up depth there. And maybe this isn't the highest ceiling pick, but I see Ben Bryant as a really solid player. B's here across the board, got power moves, intangibles with play rec. He's a pretty good athlete. Let's try to hit a double with this pick and just get a solid player. Unfortunately, just normal development. I like to take a developmental tackle here, bottom of the second round. He has good athleticism. I know that not many of these ratings here stand out, but we're going to select Donald Tatum. Now in the third round here, just a few picks later, I want to take a slot corner prospect here. This is Caleb Gary. He does have some press, some block shed, kick return. I always see as a plus for athleticism, most likely. And he is a good athlete. Number 1 in 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle, and 40-yard dash. Unfortunately, normal dev, but I love the skill set. And the last pick I am going to make today before I sim to the end is going to be wide receiver Alex Williams from Ohio State. This is pretty exciting here. Williams is a really good athlete. Blazing speed, elusive, and you see B awareness, B carrying, A catch in traffic. There's some stuff to work with, even if we know spec catch and medium route running are a bit lower. In this range, I'm looking for a couple of strengths to try and build around for a player's future. All right, draft recap. I know we're moving at a faster pace, but I just think it's kind of the right time to do that for this series, and there were a lot of comments saying that, like, that last game should basically be the end. So we are going to adjust the format. I hope you liked this video. I think we'll probably have a couple of these because I want to get through multiple seasons, and maybe at some point just really just sim and don't do anything just to see the end. But a quick look here at the players we just took. Ben Bryant, defensive lineman. I thought he might even have some ability to play edge. He does have decent speed and acceleration, but at the very least, I think a solid interior rusher. Now, the Donald Tatum pick doesn't turn out to be all that good. I like the athleticism. Strength is decent, but he's a long way from being able to play, so definitely a reach. But a player that can develop at least. Just a little early to take a player that doesn't have as much starting upside. And then Caleb Gary here, a slot corner. So we end up getting a really good athlete who needs some development, but could easily become a starting slot within a year or two, I would say. And then Alex Williams, a 72 overall. This pick is pretty cool. So Williams has 95 speed, one of the fastest players in the class. Great hands, catching traffic, short route running. I mean, he could become the new slot receiver. Khalil Jenkins was fine in that role, but who wouldn't be intrigued here by Williams? Even at running back. I just want to see something quick. Just for science purposes, I want to know what his overall rating is. Could this be a Perry Cummings situation? His skill set was a great fit. Oh my, 81. Did I just find our new backup running back? Because I didn't really like the running backs in this class. But he is certainly a fit at either slot or running back. The CPU didn't do a great job with their picks, at least looking at the overalls. LaMarcus Hayes, wide receiver, 6 foot 175. Decent route running ability there, developmental receiver with a few strengths. What's interesting here is you're able to put running backs and tight ends into the slot receiver role. Williams could be RB2 and the starting slot. Why'd I never think of that before? I want to see what that's like. Joining the team again for this year will be one of my favorites, Mike Stallworth. We could use a new second tight end. And we're also going to be bringing back John Bolden as well. I like these tight ends from this series a lot. Getting ready for the new season. Here are the roster moves we make at the end of preseason. And here is the team going into the new year. Still a very complete offense. We have Deion Myers, who outperformed Rashawn Graham last year. We'll see if that continues. And now perhaps a new playmaker to start developing. What can Alex Williams do as a rookie? Defensively, losing Jason Quinton could be a really big deal. He was a playmaker and one of the highest rated players that we had. Stop moving Perkins below Lawrence. I do not get that. Maybe I have to just move him to D tackle so the game stops doing that. But otherwise, not a ton of change to the team from last year. We've had enough change over the last couple of years, so this year was relatively stable. There are some lower rated starters on defense. You have Springs, Chubb, Haskins, and Hopkins. But we'll see if we can handle moving on from Jason Quinton this year. 5 weeks into the season, the Giants have started 4-1. Lost the opener, but have won 4 games in a row, putting up a fair amount of points. Just beat the Cowboys and the Eagles back-to-back. Petrovsky with a couple touchdowns in this game, and Tavares Towns doing Tavares Towns things. 145, 3 touchdowns for him. Myers ends up with a touchdown catch in this game, and Alex Williams is getting some production. Defensively, meanwhile, Matthew Hearns is racking up the tackles, picked up an interception as well in this game, and Otis Springs is back to also stuff the stat sheet. 5 games in, here is a quick stat update, and Petrovsky is playing extremely well. I wanted to see, though, for Alex Williams in this kind of hybrid role I think this could help speed things along for him. Like, the rushing efficiency isn't there, but catching a few passes every game will definitely speed things along. And right now, Myers is again the leading receiver. How about Bradley Chubb? He does not have a sack yet this season. The leader is Quandre Holt, not getting a ton from the edge rushers. Later in the season, we have an injury to Daryl Dodson. He's going to miss 6 games, so that's going to test our pass rush depth. At this point, the Giants are now 10-2, still in first place. I suppose that means Brian Chamberlain's going to get the playing time now, and after a few years developing on the bench, we'll see if he's ready. I was excited when I drafted him. The Giants ran away with the NFC East this season, finishing 13-4 with the second highest scoring offense and again a top 10 defense. And we make it to the playoffs as the 1 seed. The Broncos are the 1 seed in the AFC. Brian Petrovsky, 29 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Again, very typical numbers for him. Little lower on the touchdowns, but Tavares Towns must have had them all. 24 on the ground this season. Not much here for Alex Williams to not have a good season on the ground, but Towns, 1,700 yards. This is why you can sign running backs to deals here in their 30s or just use the franchise tag. Deion Myers did lead us in receiving again, but now Warren Griffith has topped Rashawn Graham. I thought maybe in this role that Alex Williams would get more playing time. Maybe it's possible Khalil Jenkins did get more of the slot snaps, but I'm okay with this actually. He had 500 downs played. Looks like we split time a little bit with the other receivers. But Graham now has 2 straight seasons of being under 1,000 yards receiving. So is there some regression? I think you'd have to say so. Hasn't had a big play in a long time. 29 yards is his long this season. The contract is up there. You know, we'll see if it becomes an issue. It hasn't yet. And then defensively, 10 sacks for Perkins and 14.5 for Quandre Holt. Bird had 7, Chubb had 7. That opposite edge spot really didn't give us a lot of production this year, and Chamberlain played 670 snaps, only getting 2 sacks, 20 tackles. Not a great showing for him. For interceptions, Matthew Hearn stepped up as the number 1 linebacker. 135 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 3 picks. Cunningham also had 3. Scott Faulkner was maybe a little bit better, but he hasn't really been the solution here for the kicking spot, unfortunately. Hey, Deion Myers had a punt return touchdown. He does it all. Brian Petrovsky is close to 50,000 passing yards now in his career. Tavares Towns goes over 10,000 yards with 130 touchdowns. And Rashawn Graham. Does he play long enough to get to 1,000 receptions? It'll take probably 4 years, I would say. That's iffy. And Bradley Chubb now 130 sacks. Maybe this was his last season. Quandre Holt, close to 100 in his career. The first playoff game will be against the Philadelphia Eagles after they finished second place in the East this season. And we beat them to move on to the NFC Championship game. 31-15 was the score of this one. Petrovsky with 3 touchdowns, only 186 yards, but that's all we had to do in this game. We win comfortably. Vallejo catches a touchdown. And we have defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to return to the Super Bowl. We win this game convincingly. Again, Petrovsky doesn't do a lot through the air, but we win the game comfortably, and we'll be playing in the Super Bowl this season against the same team we beat a year ago. It's a rematch, and the 3rd time we've met now with the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl. I hope you don't mind the faster pace to this video. It's not as detailed as some others, but I do want to get through multiple seasons and see what that looks like. Really want to get this series wrapped up. It does feel like it's time. We've, of course, won 5 Super Bowls in the series, 2 against Denver. And I want to take this one into the 4th quarter and see if perhaps we have another close game after the classic last episode. And we're actually down 2 scores. We have some work to do. Denver's trying to get on the board against us, Super Bowl-wise. And that throw is going to be short now, 4th and 2. You got to look to go for it in this spot. Not kick a 60-yarder. You have to take the special teams off the field. Faulkner missed it. He had the leg. Accuracy is his problem. This one isn't looking good for us now. The Broncos picked up Josh Allen, who was with the Vikings last season. So no DJ Spiegel this season. All right, Deion Myers made a catch. We get into Denver territory now. We're down 16, so chances aren't great here. Only 7 points on the board. Petrovsky downfield, and that is incomplete for Griffith. Four-man rush. Petrovsky got it to Griffith. He breaks a tackle down to the 14. Now Towns inside. All kinds of space. First down and goal. And Petrovsky, with a penalty marker down, finds John Bolden for a touchdown. And we'll see if this counts. I think it will. That was probably PI. So now you need the 2-point conversion to really feel like you're still in this. And we run it with Alex Williams, and he does not get in. And the Giants do not see the football again in this game as Josh Allen helps the Denver Broncos win the Super Bowl and finally top us here. They came so close in the last one, but now we drop our 2nd Super Bowl of the series. Brian Petrovsky now 5-2 in Super Bowls. And I don't know, we just couldn't really run the football like we wanted to today, and that's usually our game plan in the postseason. So offense just had a really bad game against a good defense of Denver. There have to be some retirements this year. I think Lawrence would be retiring at least. And Lawrence has indeed retired. Rashawn Slater did as well. That means that there are no more players on this team from the first episode of the series. Dexter Lawrence was the last player remaining. And now we'll move forward with offseason number 2 of the day. Here are the contracts we have to take care of, and Deion Myers is going to be a big one. In 5 seasons, he's become the new #1 receiver, it would appear. 1,200 yards this last season, a new career high. We can make a deal with him. I want to increase the offer and not have this go to free agency, so let's give him the same contract that the Cowboys gave Amari Cooper. 4 years, $100 million. And for Tavares Towns, I would also like to just get a deal done. Let's go to 2 years, make it a decent offer. Come on, we have to keep doing this. I think we'll let Daquan Bird go. We just drafted a defensive lineman. I think we can handle that spot. Jamario Hopkins now. It's been tougher to find good corners. And I'm going to prioritize Hopkins. You got to have 3 corners at least that can really play. And a 4-year offer for him is fair. That's done. Wow, Landry Haskins' deal is up as well. He's a player I'll probably let go. He's not like a game-changing player, just a solid starter. We're about at the point now where I like to go into free agency and see who's there. Let me just tag Tavares Towns again first. $18 million right now. That is not a lot to spend in free agency. We've signed so many players in the last few years. Looks like it's finally catching up to us. There won't be a Rashawn Slater-like signing without first clearing space. And it's too early to think about like a move for Rashawn Graham, and I really wouldn't want to do that to begin with. Oh wow, Cunningham's up to an X Factor, so that's new. He's come far in his career. How about that? Isaiah Cunningham's been really good. And this defense is starting to look a little more average. Not much cap space. Hey, we still have a really good defensive line. Well, Holt and Perkins at least. And then Cunningham, Hearns is solid. Dodson's developing. Gresham is a high-rated player as well. But it ain't the defense it once was. And there are, again, really good free agents becoming available. I love seeing that. I do wish that in this game there was, more resetting of the market and the cap going up and that entire thing playing out. I still think players aren't asking for enough at the top end and should be setting kind of new benchmarks the way we saw with like wide receiver in the NFL this season. The safety class here isn't great. A lot of teams are interested in Haskins. So we might give an offer here to Taylor Saunders, just to be a stopgap starter, but we'll see if he accepts something like this. Suddenly now you could say like we could use a safety, we could use a defensive lineman, an edge rusher, and an off-ball linebacker. A lot of needs suddenly for this defense and nowhere near enough cap space to attack them aggressively. Too many teams interested in Saunders now, so that won't work either. All right, we do bring in an 80 overall pass rusher, John Ward. This is kind of like just a redo of the Bradley Chubb contract. So that worked out, bringing in the veteran, and I just don't know how many of these holes we can actually fill in the draft. So I know Chamberlain wasn't great last season. John Ward will have rush the passer there on the edge. He does have a lot of experience in this series. Let's see his recent stats. 3, 5, 2.5, 2. Yeah, just an okay pass rusher who's always played on more of a part-time basis, it seems. So for this draft, I would have to think it's kind of more of a BPA defensive draft. We picked 31st, though, so how much impact can we really get? I actually think we can get plenty. Here is Kirk Galloway, 6'3", 225. Linebacker is a huge need. But Galloway also just fits as far as like a BPA standpoint goes. He's an outstanding athlete, great speed, leaping ability, strong, and then A awareness, B play rec, B catching. Fill in the gaps later, I'll take him right now. 91 speed. I don't think it's a bad time to look at receiver. I haven't loved the defensive options here in this range. Keontae Monroe does have some pretty good speed. He's not all that agile, but he does have a few skills here I think we could work with. Bottom of the second round, let's give him a chance. And then I did like LaMichael Westbrook a little at edge too to add some competition there. He's at least a good athlete to start developing here, and in the third round, I think you'll take that. We end up getting 4 players rated in the 70s, picking at 32, so I'm not mad at that. Want to go through these players quick here. Kirk Galloway, I thought that was a great start for us. Looked like a great replacement for Jason Quinton. Like, I think Quinton at the beginning had to have his coverage developed as well. I think they're the same archetype. Really a lot of similarities with them coming out. And then Keontae Monroe at receiver is actually a little higher rated than I expected. He can do pretty much everything outside of running routes right now. There's nothing else to really work on to make him playable. A 70 overall bottom 3. This is LaMichael Westbrook. And he's strong, but also a good athlete with some finesse rushing ability. And then the CPU took over, and they took Damian Jackson here, bottom of the 4th round, a hidden dev player. 6'5", 250, decent speed. Wow, what a great complimentary tight end. CPU doing better than me here getting hidden dev players. We've got to sign a safety here to get ready for the season, and we'll bring in Trayvon Merrick. We don't have a lot of cap space right now to do anything more. I still like the way this team looks offensively. We have a lot of our cap space invested here into all these veterans. There aren't a ton of players even on rookie contracts anymore. That would have to change. Defensively, that means that things are really different. We have a couple stars and then a lot of veterans just hoping to fill the gaps for us. Wow, what happened to Jamario Hopkins? He must be hurt. Broken toe, out 2 weeks. So he's out a short while, but otherwise there are still a lot of lower rated normal dev starters, and you can't expect this defense to be dominant. We also signed a new kicker this year. Wyatt Armstrong will take over that role. We jump ahead all the way into week 12, and this is a 3-team battle right now in the NFC East. Cowboys and Eagles are strong, and we just lost to Dallas. We have one of the best offenses, but still it looks like we're getting good enough play from the defense. Wow, Petrovsky could be having a career season. 27 touchdowns right now, 3 picks. Wow, Tavares Towns. 3.7. This is really coming out of nowhere. Number 12 running back, so he has regressed a bit. A lot, actually. He was just 97 overall not long ago. Oh, no. In the meantime, Alex Williams has been a little more efficient. He's played more, but he also catches the football at the same time. And looks like he's taking a solid step up this year overall. Warren Griffith is the team's leading receiver right now. A tight end doing production like this. That's cool to see. And then Tevin Griffin. He's actually getting into the action quite a bit. And he is in year 3 now. This is the first year he's even gotten to play. And he's played pretty well. Quandre Holt and Patrick Perkins are the new dynamic pass rushing duo with this team. Daryl Dodson and Ben Bryant combined for 6.5 sacks right now. And Dodson just appears to be decent. It's not a contract year for him, but he doesn't seem to be a player that necessarily is going to get a big deal from us. But Matthew Hearns has 5 interceptions. How about his play at linebacker this year? And really just overall. He's had to fill in a lot and now been a starter for a few years running. Nice little career arc for him. In the end, the Giants end up winning the NFC East after all, finishing the season really strong, going 12-5. We'll open against Philadelphia once again. We ended the year with a nice 5 of 6 winning stretch. Lost to the Eagles, and we'll take them on now in the playoffs for the second time in a row in the wild card round. Let's check those stats again. I want to know what Petrovsky ended up with. And 39 touchdowns. Is that a career high for Brian in year 12? That ties a career high. Tavares Towns, 3.8 a carry. I really wasn't expecting anything like that. I've been taking a look at some of the running backs in the classes, and they haven't been that impressive. I'm really just hoping that Alex Williams can pan out here and take over. Deion Myers, Warren Griffith, and Rashawn Graham all go over 1,000 yards this season. So Myers has won that title 3 years in a row. And defensively, Hearns finishes with the 5 interceptions, 8 pass deflections, 116 tackles. Holt and Perkins get the double-digit sacks, but Dodson had 8. Looks like the edge rushing tandem at least did good in the second half of the year. In terms of just overall sacks, we're still getting 50 sacks this season, so we have a great pass rush. I know I keep saying, like, maybe this defense won't be great, but it just continues to be great. 4th in points allowed, number 1 against the run, and that's with like 4 or 5 normal dev average starters. It's just the starters who are above average are really above average. All right, let's get on to the playoffs. A really tight game here against Philly, but we win it 38-35 behind a big day from the offense. Brian Petrovsky, 300 yards. Was intercepted twice, but Tavares Towns, a 4-touchdown day, stepping it up for us in the biggest game of the season. And then Rashawn Graham leading the way at receiver with his 9 catches, or his 8 catches, rather. So a close one. But we move on. The Broncos didn't even make the playoffs this year, so we know that no matter what, it won't be a repeat. Wow, we lose Shane Ross. Done. That is a huge loss for the offensive line. But we advance, beating San Francisco in the next week. 2 interceptions off of Trey Lance in this game. Towns finds the end zone 2 more times. And how about those interceptions? Cunningham and Hearns, of course. And we defeat Arizona to advance to the Super Bowl. This time it was a more defensive game. Not a ton of pass production. Or rushing production either. The Giants return to yet another Super Bowl in this series. We've had more seasons where we've made the Super Bowl than missed, which is incredible. We'll take on number 1 New England this time around. It's always interesting when these 2 teams meet up in the Super Bowl, and we'll see if the Giants can defeat them yet again. Patriots come in as the 1 seed. Giants maybe underdogs in this game. Right where we want to be against the Patriots. However, it's a 7-point game here in the Super Bowl. 4th quarter, Patriots have it. Mac Jones is still here, and they do get a field goal. So we trail by 2 scores, as we did in the last one against Denver. LaMarcus Hayes just caught a pass. All right, the rookie receiver gets involved. If I'm remembering the right player. Now I'm not sure. But it's a 10-point game. We'll hand this off. That's Alex Williams, and he'll get 1. Not sure if this is a good sign for Tavares Towns. But we'll head to the air on 2nd down. Petrovsky, back corner. That is incomplete. Williams stepped out. 3rd down now for Petrovsky and the Giants offense. And he'll get it to the end zone again, broken up for Graham. Patrick Perkins gets a sack on 2nd down. We have to get the ball back. We need a touchdown still. 4 minutes left to play. Mac Jones is going to the air on 3rd and 12. Underneath, they won't get there, and the Giants will get the ball back. We're still in this game. 3:20 left to go. Petrovsky got it outside to Deion Myers. What a grab. Looks like Petrovsky has 3 interceptions in this game. He's trying to make up for it here while there's still time. Williams is slot right. I have no idea where Towns is. On 1st down, wide open is Graham. Breaking tackles inside the 10. Goal to go. 2 minutes left to go. We're trying to tie things up. There is Towns, and he's denied from the 1-yard line. It is now 4th down. Trying to get into the end zone. We trust Brian Petrovsky. Touchdown, Warren Griffith. They brought the house. Probably expecting run. And now they'll review it, but I think he had both feet in. He did. And this is going to be an interesting finish, it looks like. It's anybody's ball game now. The Giants have tied it up at 24. Mac Jones in the pocket, looking downfield with it, overthrown. Again to the air. Downfield, this one's out of bounds. they don't make a play here, we can get good field position. Third down, out of the backfield, and the stop is made. Cunningham on the tackle. Well, the field position isn't great, but all we have to do is score to take the lead. Petrovsky settling underneath for 5 yards. He's thrown 54 passes in this game. He might throw 60 passes in the Super Bowl. Petrovsky on second down. Got it there to Griffith, but that was so close. We go empty a ton. Down goes Petrovsky. Laurie was unblocked. And now we're down to 32 seconds. We could be looking at overtime unless Petrovsky can make a play. Extra men on the rush. That's caught by Griffith. And that's a first down. You see how he's been tearing it up here in the Sims, and then we watch and you start to understand how he can rack up 1,000 yards like this. 12 catches now. Short gain for Alex Williams. That's too early to call an I-form dive. Wyatt Armstrong awaiting his chance. What are we doing? Well, that was mismanaged. And we're going to bring out Wyatt Armstrong, and this is to win the game. And this is going to be a 59-yard attempt to win the Super Bowl. Now, even if he misses, there shouldn't be a play left for New England. I would think. I don't know if it's a line drive, maybe a 4-second field goal try. Armstrong for the win! And he just missed it! That was so close! With 1 second to go, the Patriots take over. Don't do it to us, Mac Jones. Not like this. Last play of regulation. We drop 8. Mac Jones lets it develop, and here it goes. This could end it, but it won't. We're going to overtime. This is fun. Wait a minute. No. No way. They didn't give us a kickoff or anything. They just gave them the ball there like the fourth quarter continues. Wow. I know there are issues with like missed field goals at the end of a half, but I never saw this before. So, kind of a free start to the drive here. If the Patriots score a touchdown, they win. We'll just say it's new rules in the 2031 CBA or whatever. Now overtime is just a fifth quarter. It continues from where they left off. Incomplete for Cunningham. But they're in field goal range, so they're probably scoring on this drive. Unless we can get a takeaway. What's with all these empty looks here? The game has changed a lot here in 2034 or whatever it is. 3rd and 4. Huge play. Jones gets it away, and it's incomplete. They faked the field goal. No way. And they didn't get it. Why does this game love the fake field goal so much? I can get it if it's like 4th and 1 on like a 50-yard try or something. But not there. Next score wins. We're going backwards, though. A play fake for Petrovsky. Gotta get out of there. Incomplete. On 2nd and 20. More pressure. This offensive line isn't what it once was. And we're missing Shane Ross in the middle now. So at center and right tackle, we have replacement level players. 3rd and 26. Just give it to Alex Williams. And thankfully, he gets some room for the punter. What a punt. Kind of flipping field position here. Patriots at the 36-yard line as they take over. Again, next score wins. Mac Jones got it there. Broke a tackle. That's a gain of 10. They give it to the running back, and he's taken down in the backfield. How about that play? That's Daryl Dodson setting up 3rd and 5. And now we go to the double A gap look. I hope we're sending something. Nope, we were bluffing the whole time. Jones got it there for a first down. This is going to be third down. Patriots need 9. They're not in field goal range. Jones, penalty marker down. That's incomplete. And this should be a hold. The Giants have it back after a pretty poor punt. Petrovsky wants to win the game right here, and it's caught at the 10. He throws it up to Deion Myers, and he brings the Giants in range to take this game. Wyatt Armstrong is set up for a 27-yard field goal in the pouring Miami rain. Armstrong daggers New England, and the Giants beat them again in the Super Bowl. Ring number 6 of the series. What a way to get it done. Wait a minute. There it is. Okay, I thought maybe they weren't going to end the game right there. Giants win the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Brian Petrovsky, can't believe it. I now need 2 hands to house all the Super Bowl rings. And Tom Brady, sitting there at what? What would he be right now? Like 59 years old. I gotta come back. He can't catch me. I gotta film another commercial with Gronk quick. There you go. A Super Bowl title again for the Giants. We've played in 3 straight and won 2 of 3. That is probably enough for today. I think in the next one, I might just stop doing the draft altogether. Still doing some free agency calls, though. Just try to keep some players around that I want on the team. Let me know what you thought of the video. I know it was a change up in terms of the delivery and everything, but I wanted to fit multiple seasons. I planned to do more than this, but it's already been a long recording, and we just won a Super Bowl there. So it feels like a good place to stop. So we're 12 seasons into Petrovsky's career now, I want to say. A lot of the quarterbacks I've been seeing are retiring after like 15 years. I don't know what his case is going to be, but I think maybe 3 to 4 more seasons, and then maybe we're all wrapped up with his story. Let's check out the retirements, though, just in case. Justin Jefferson has retired. We're pretty far into the future now. Kadarius Toney retired. Kyle Meyer. No retirements here for the Giants this year. So I just want a little peek then at the regression, because it hit Tavares Towns pretty hard last time. Petrovsky is still in excellent shape, it appears. Let's see. Yeah, he is losing a little bit, though. 6 points. Towns is no longer in the 90s. Wow, the boost is taking him to 89, but now he's a superstar 86. So at this point, you know, he's definitely turned the corner in his career. He's on the downswing, but I mean, it took a long time. He's 33 years old. He still ran for 1,200 yards, but it appears he's approaching the end. Receiving, Deion Myers helps us win a Super Bowl today. He's only 28 years old. Rashawn Graham, on the other hand, is 33. Star Dev, after all the years of working him up to superstar, and his regression was fairly spread out, but still 18 points, with a year left on the contract for him. Looks like Shane Ross has gone down a bit as well. Only normal dev for him, so you expect the fall off to be steeper, and he loses 20 points. Christian Tolbert, I think he's still fine. He'd be a true 95 overall, so he only lost 2 points. That's it. But that is going to wrap this one up, everybody. A couple more championships, or one more championship for the Giants. We're up to 6. And we are basically now just waiting for the retirement of Brian Petrovsky. He's at 53,000 passing yards. He just crossed 400 touchdown passes this season. And if we check out the record books, he is not yet in the top 10 for passing yards. He's still actually a decent bit away from that. For passing touchdowns, 400's a lot, but not quite top 10. We'll have to see how long he decides to play. But that is going to wrap this video up. If you enjoyed this and would like next episode to be similar, let me know. Or I can do an even faster style long-term sim and maybe even stop managing the team and just make sure Petrovsky stays here. Let me know what you'd like. Next episode could be the last one. Maybe, we'll have to see. But thank you all for watching. Please leave a like on the video if you're enjoying the end of the Giants franchise rebuild. And I will see you all in the next one. Have a great day.